Shark fans, welcome back out here for another edition of Brownie Points in the hoop spirit today. If you look behind us, everyone repping their basketball jerseys. Brownie, how are we doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Where's your basketball spirit today?
You know, it's with the Sharks. I just Coach Crutch hasn't given me a jersey yet.
Coach Crutch, maybe you need to tune in and get Brownie hooked up out here. But anyway, Brownie, last time we talked, we were fresh off 2-3 road trip. You know, everyone were talking slow start, yada yada. We get into it. Sweep Embry-Riddle last weekend. What caused the switch to turn on last week against those guys?
No, I mean, I think that it's all about preparation. If you look at us annually, I think our senior players reminded me of this. Like every single year, we start out slow because we challenge ourselves with the schedule. We go into cold weather. We played very good teams, and you know, it takes time for a team to build. I'd much rather be a better team late than a better team early, and so I think that we're just seeing the groundwork. I still don't think we're there, but I think that we're building towards it.
Starting rotation was very solid last week, especially the first 2 days. Now you've got Nate Campbell settled into that one spot, Devin Meyer moving in. You're getting Nick Sanders hopefully back this weekend as well. What's it like now that guys' roles are more defined, as well as getting some of these injured players back into the mix?
You know, I think one thing that's been unique for this year is we've used more arms than we ever have in the past. And I think that's because we were a lot unsettled and we were trying to figure out who fits what role, you know, and so I think that now, looking forward, I think that we've identified some guys that are, you know, separated themselves as guys that are going to be effective in this league, and I think that those guys are going to have to make the most of their opportunities. But our job is to develop, and so if we're developing our guys through the depth of this roster, I think you're going to see guys step up. And you know, a case like Kyle Kilborn. Kyle Kilborn was a guy who was buried on a roster for a couple years, but in the last 2 years he's emerged as a guy we really count on. And so I think that's something that it's a tribute to the development that's taken place here, you know, obviously with Justin Ramsey and now Bo Henning, but also I think that guys just have to understand that the college game and the opportunities are unfortunately limited because there's not as many games. You know, if we were playing every single day, you'd have to use your entire roster a little differently. But when you get into a weekend series, and if our hands get hot, I mean, we're limiting the amount of guys that are actually going to throw.
Another guy who's played a monster role, kind of expected, but catcher Garrett Woolforth. Huge weekend last week against Embry-Riddle. We lose a guy like Jakey and Chia last year, but talk about how lucky we are to have Garrett be that transition guy to fill those shoes. You know,
Garrett's been just a outstanding leader for this program, the way he goes about his business, his work ethic, and he's really a great student of the game. He's got kinesthetic awareness, he understands his body, he understands adjustments that need to be made. So I mean, I think that's a great tribute, but I mean, Mikey Rojas is doing a heck of a job, and our whole catching core, and unfortunately there's just not again enough innings for these guys, but I'm really excited about the catching core that we have, because these guys they've put in the work, and they've developed, and we have I've watched Joey Raffaelli, who last year was our bullpen catcher, you know, redshirted. This guy, he's going to be an impact player down the road for us, and I'm really excited about the work that they're doing. Alex Hernandez, Michael Hernandez's younger brother, is doing just an incredible job too in his role, and you have two seniors that really know how to play the game, and I think that separates them a little bit. But I think the future's bright in our catching.
First full weekend in SSC play last week. Bit unconventional. You see Florida Southern get swept by Barry. Makes our series win look even better. You see Tampa drop 2 out of 3 at Florida Tech. Just what are your thoughts and reaction to that opening week? You seeing top to bottom, these guys beating up on each other already?
Well, I just think it's our league has gotten better and better throughout, and I think that the teams that have traditionally been at the top and the teams that are at the bottom, the gap has closed, and I think that pitching is really improved with it throughout the league, and I think that's apparent. And anybody can beat anybody. So our job, I don't really look around like the league, like from week to week. I look more about like what we're doing, and I want us to play the game better. And I think that if we play the game better, we're going to win a lot of games. And so you know, we've been finishing in the upper part of the conference for a lot of years here, but that comes through you know, a process. And I don't think we're there yet, but I think that we're building towards it.
We're hitting the road to face Tampa for a 3-game set this weekend. It's not only one of the premier matchups in the league, but also in all of D2 baseball. How excited are you guys for this opportunity?
You know, I mean, I love playing. You know, Tampa's well coached. They're unbelievably talented. They can really pitch. I think that, you know, it's a great challenge for our roster, and we're going to be able to match up pretty well, and we'll see how it all rolls out. But I mean, just you know, Joe's one of the best coaches to ever coach at the collegiate level, and I feel fortunate that I get to compete against him every year.
And last but not least, guy obviously former Shark, guy you know personally, Miles Michaelis, comes back from Japan, 2-year deal with St. Louis, re-ups the deal this past week. Talk about how awesome that is to see, but also kind of the story it speaks behind D2 player, a guy who maybe battles his ups and downs to kind of be in the situation he is now.
You know, Miles is an extreme athlete, and you know, his time here at Nova, he made an impact as a freshman throughout his junior year, and he definitely garnered the attention of professional baseball, which was great in the draft process. But having only, you know, about 90 innings, and then going to Japan for 3 years and doing what he did over there, I think is a tribute to how successful one can be sometimes when they take a step back and they relearn the craft, you know. And had he stayed in the States, I don't know what his career would have looked like, but his time over in Japan, how worldly he is, how evolved he is pretty awesome to see. I really think that he's a special individual, you know, a family man, and he's got his hands full right now. And I think that it's probably good that he's staying in St. Louis. That way spring training is right in his backyard. So, I mean, we're all excited for him, his development here to what he's done past here. He's an exceptional person. I think he's a great ambassador for not only our school, but our level. And I'm opening day starter to now getting an extension with a great organization like the Cardinals. What more could you ask for?
Absolutely. Well, Brownie, that's all we got. I want to wish you guys good luck this weekend. Series opener tomorrow night at 6 p.m., followed by doubleheader at 1 and 4 on Saturday. Tune in on NSUSharks.com or follow along on Twitter at NSU_baseball.
Go Sharks.